This video review was requested by Evil Villain over on Instagram. Be sure to click the link in the description below and give him a follow. Let him know Overlord sent ya. Now on to the review.
Take my path, never lost, in ruthless pain, always bleed. Silent sound, stalking ground, cemetery run, I'm lost alone.
Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series, Cobra B.A.T. And before we get into it here, let us first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, the Cobra B.A.T does come with a plethora of accessories. First up, the Cobra B.A.T does come with a pistol which can store in the holster on his left hip. Next up, much like Trapjaw from Masters of the Universe, the Cobra B.A.T does come with 3 different arm attachments, the first of which being this blaster type attachment. The second being this much larger blaster type attachment. I believe it is a flamethrower, and it should be worth noting that both blaster attachments for this guy have holes in the end for blast effects, which I don't think I have any that work right now, but I do believe the flame effects from the Star Wars Black Series Deluxe Boba Fett do work quite well with this guy. And wrapping up the arm attachments, the Cobra B.A.T does come with a pincer claw, or as I like to call it, the titty twister of doom. And if you weren't having Trapjaw vibes before, you ought to be right now. Up next, the Cobra B.A.T does come with a battle-damaged head and chest plate to look like he got jacked up by good old G.I. Joe. But to be quite honest, I'm getting some Terminator vibes here. Terminator and Trapjaw vibes in the same figure? How could you possibly go wrong with that? And last but certainly not least, the Cobra B.A.T does come with a backpack for you to store all of his extra arm attachments. Now it should be worth noting that the arm attachments are compatible with both arms of the figure, the left or the right, and if you are currently utilizing said arm attachments, you could store the hands in the backpack as well. So in true G.I. Joe Classified Series fashion, you could pretty much store most of the accessories on the figure, with the exception of the battle-damaged head and chest plate, but that seems pretty self-explanatory at this point. So with that being said, time to move on to the aesthetics and articulation. Taking a closer look at the Cobra B.A.T here, and I gotta tell ya, of all the G.I. Joe Classified Series figures we've gotten thus far, this one right here is definitely doing it for me. One of my favorites and my top classified for the year thus far, if I'm being quite honest. But that shouldn't be any surprise to any of you guys. I know this guy's been out for a hot minute, a little bit late to the game, but as I always say, better late than never, because this figure is straight up all kinds of kick-ass. I love this figure. That said, he does have a little bit of something I didn't show you guys yet. Taking his chest plate off, you can see all the inner workings in there, which is pretty sweet. Just plug that back in. And like I said during the accessories part of this review, this guy is literally like the Boba Fett Trapjaw conglomerate of the G.I. Joe universe, and that is freaking cool. So as far as articulation on this guy goes, his head is on a double ball peg. I can pull this off. You can see that there, and then he has that ball joint in the neck, so that works pretty well. I would advise heating up the heads on this guy when you go to swap them, just because they are a little bit tight at first, but once you get them popped on a few times and, you know, heat adjusted, it's not too bad. Shoulders go out to the side, about a right angle to the body, so he can pull off a T-pose. And the butterfly joints. Best in the classified line. Look at that. Incredible range. Rotate all the way around. Really solid, too, by the way. This figure has, like, some of the best QC and, like, proportions and overall joint stiffness out of any figure in this line so far. So that is awesome. He's got a bicep swivel there. Double joint at the elbow. Does bend pretty far. Look at that. Holy cow. A little gappy. A little bit. I wouldn't say he's got the Cliffs of Dover going on, but he is a robot, so I guess he can get away with that somewhat. His wrists are on swivels with a hinge. My only gripe with this figure, he doesn't have the up and down hinge, but at the end of the day, are you going to use him with his pistol, or are you going to put some of his trapjaw arm attachments on? Yeah, that's what I thought. But for those of you wondering, hands are super easy to pop out. They're not hard at all. And you can actually store the hands in the backpack. Not sure if I mentioned that before or not. Speaking of the backpack, there's a hole forward on the back there. Pretty easy to get in. And this guy's backpack actually sits on him quite well. Not a whole lot of issues there. Ab crunch works pretty well. Clicks back. Clicks forward. Right there. He's got a waist swivel. Nice, tight, and clicky. He does have his pistol in the holster here, so you can push this out like so. Put it back in there for safekeeping. I guess we'll go with the other leg just because this one has this holster and it's a little bit stiffer. But as far as his legs go, I did have to heat up the legs and lube them up a bit. So be wary about that, but they work fine now. They're not nearly as tight and scary and hard to move. He can kick out really well. Look at that. I don't know why the G.I. Joe Classified series, which is essentially supposed to be like more realistic human characters, can do better like roundhouse kicks out to the side than Marvel Legends. Like a lot of Marvel Legends. They don't get this kind of range. And it's not because of that stupid drop down either. I know someone's going to say it, but that's not it. Like, that doesn't add to this, really. It does a little bit. It gives you a perfect right angle, but without that, he kicks out really far. So, I don't know what's going on there, but I think the Marvel team should consult the Joe team and take some notes. It's also got a thigh cut there. Double joint at the knee. Should also mention that this guy's got really stiff hinges and they're pinless. Look at that. Look at that. I'm sorry, but once you go pinless, you can't go back. It's just subpar after that. It's got a boot swivel. It's got his big old yellow boots there. Kind of looks like fireman boots, to be honest with you. He has a hinge in the ankle with a rocker joint. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet. With a stand he does not come with, but I'm sure you could rig something up. It works in Marvel Legends. I'm sure it works with these guys. Same with Black Series and all Hasbro 1/12 scale action figure lines. So that is the Bat in a nutshell. He is super freaking cool. And definitely one of my tops for the year so far. I have no regrets in saying that. I really love this figure. I'm not the biggest G.I. Joe guy in the world. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. But I like cool shit. And this guy definitely qualifies for that. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's the Cobra Bat next to a couple other army builders from good old Cobra, the Cobra Infantry, and the Cobra Viper. Next up, here he is alongside a couple other members from good old Cobra, Cobra Commander and Destro. And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, and the 11th Spawn, who as usual, towers over everyone. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and what else could I possibly say about this figure that hasn't already been said other than it is yet again another solid addition to the G.I. Joe Classified series line, and I would say, other than a few color choices in that first wave from 2020, man, that seems like a while ago, this line has been pretty gangbusters in my opinion. It just seems like every release is hitting on all cylinders, and this guy is absolutely no exception to that rule. He is freaking fantastic, and you can't go wrong with the Trapjaw of the G.I. Joe universe, can ya? So with that said, I would highly recommend you pick this guy up. Maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. Just don't go crazy with it. Leave some for the rest of us. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And if you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. And if you haven't already, hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.